Now broadcasting on your favorite podcast platform, it's the Maverick Do It Different podcast with your host, Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. When you want to step up and dare to be different, when you will dare to be great and live up to your fullest potential, when you are ready to dare to be a maverick and live the life of your dreams, filled with abundance, passion, and joy, then it's time to listen to me, Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and the Maverick Do It Different podcast. Welcome to this edition of Do It Different podcast. And my name is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and we are here with one of our great authors in the upcoming Volume 3 of Be a Success Maverick, How Ordinary People Do It Different to Achieve Extraordinary Results. And this particular author is one who has achieved extraordinary results by doing it different. Husband, father, entrepreneur in the payment system industry for the past 15 years, specializing in business-to-business space and accepting payments for goods and services, the merchant industry. Absolutely, Scott Centofonti, it is a pleasure to have you here. Please say hi and welcome.
Hi, Paul. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here. I appreciate it.
So you've got a chapter in our upcoming book. You're one of our great authors with a whole bunch of great co-authors in the book. You talk about playing to your strengths and creating a business in that regard. What is the strength that you have found for yourself, and how do you utilize it in your business?
Well, growing up, I don't learn like a typical person. Nowadays with school, you see so much more advanced education helping people learn the way they learn. So I'm dyslexic. And so I had to play to the strengths of listening and logic reasoning. And I really didn't realize that until I got out of high school, that I was able to, that was more of I was overcompensating for my disabilities in reading and decoding when it came to the written word. So I was able to play towards my ear and also my logic reasoning to actually get me through and compensate for those disabilities that I had in the learning space.
So, and this is such a valuable lesson for so many people to get. My daughter, and I believe we've had these conversations, my daughter is also dyslexic and went through the challenge. When she was in third grade, she wasn't able to read. She had a kindergarten reading level, even up to third grade. And we got really real with how to different systems, different processes to really be able to think, to be able to receive, to be able to retrieve. And with that, she actually now processes at a more efficient level, is so much more organized than other people in the family might be, just has that process down, knows exactly how to get to the results that she's looking for step by step. And so many people, they feel like challenges are there to hold you back, whereas you and my daughter found the challenge actually propelled you to create success. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how what we've learned in the last 20 years about people and the way they learn differently. There's a lot of movie stars and a lot of very successful people that are dyslexic, or they have certain learning capabilities that are not normal or the normal way of doing it. And, it's one of those things, like you said, a challenge is more of a way of finding a solution rather than holding you back. Because, growing up, I had to work harder than most just to get my 79s, So it was one of those things where you didn't know any different. You knew that you didn't get it as quick as others, so you had to work a little bit harder, or you had to do it a little different way. And that's kind of what has propelled me, or kind of brought me into this universe with the Maverick Millionaire and this, in our community that we have here.
Yeah, we're all about doing it different. And so what did you, I get that you overcame the challenges. What about people that weren't born with the privilege of being dyslexic, like yourself, my daughter, and Richard Branson of all people. Um, what what do you say to them on how to really create that success that you have found through overcoming your challenge?
It's more perseverance. I mean, I wrote about that in the book, and it's one of those things where, at the time it might look like the hardest thing you're doing or the worst situation you could put yourself in, but as long as you kind of put your head down and get it done, or figure out a way. I have 3 boys, and believe it or not, dyslexia is handed down from a male to their male offsprings. So I've actually, knowing of my challenges in school, we were able to catch that very early with the children. And there's so many different programs out there now that my 10-year-old is now going into 6th grade, and he actually is not dyslexic anymore. And it was amazing to me that the processes that they put in place and the programs that they had for him allowed him to process, his brain to process, to where he could learn like everyone else, but yet he still has, he's so smart. It's unbelievable. And he worked so hard because he had to overcome those challenges.
Right.
So, I just say to people, it's take it as a blessing. Use the tools. There are so many tools out there now. And for me, I graduated high school with an 8th grade reading level. I passed English with a dozen red roses and a nice note to my English teacher.
Love that.
But that was part of my sales. That's part of my personality. That's part of my, just who I am. But I didn't really find it till junior college, to where I took a bunch of tests, and it came back to where, okay, these are your strengths. These are your weaknesses. And I really had to step back and say, well, I got to figure something out here. And so that's why I went into sales, because I have an ear and I listen to everything. And my logic reasoning, I can normally project what's going to happen before it happens, so that we can be proactive rather than reactive. So it's amazing what has come about now with the learning and being able to help people that learn a different way. That's really what it comes down to. And there's also a thing about dyslexia. It's not seeing words backwards. There's so many different varieties. It's kind of like a spectrum, just kind of like autism, to where the spectrum of being dyslexic could just be, you could be phonically deaf, or you could be all the way to where you're seeing words and letters and numbers backwards. So it really runs the gamut of what it could be. So, but thank gosh, there's been more, there's been more research out there that's actually been helping.
Yeah. And for me, in understanding and working with my daughter, it was about really recognizing that there's always a way. And there's always a way to get to that end result of, well, I want to receive the information. How do I do that? And then I want to be able to retrieve it. How do I do that? And that's core component of learning, receiving information, then being able to retrieve it when you need it. And with my daughter, it was different systems, processes, different ways of analyzing and filing the information so that we could really make it a real impact for her. And it's just amazing. The bottom line lesson that I've seen is that with any of us that overcome challenges, our work ethic, our perseverance, our understanding on how to get from here to there is so much more advanced than most of the people that we're working with that are around us in the world. Found that to be so?
I do. And it's the belief in that you'll make it work, because you have in the past. Yeah. So you're pulling on some of the challenges that you've overcome in the past, to where that you'll be able to persevere. You might not see it at the time, but just to have that self-confidence that, what, I've been here before. I just need to take a step back, and I know that I can get through it. It's going to take a little longer than most, but the key is I'll get it. But when I get it, I got it. And I think that's a really big thing to think about when you're speaking about that.
Yeah, huge. So I know we could spend hours on this topic. I know you've created just an amazing business, and it with the same type of approach that you kind of approach your life and business differently than most. How did you approach the merchant services, if you will, differently?
I didn't know much about it when I got into the industry. And it's an unregulated industry. And when you come into an industry that doesn't have any, rules of engagement, I care about people. I like people. I want to help people. And that's really that's my whole being of coming to do this, and accepting payments, helping them with the best situations. Which you find in my industry, a lot of people are just in it to get in and get out, to sell their portfolio, make money, no matter what it does to the merchant themselves. So really my thing, I love working with mom and pops. I love working with the entrepreneur that is, striving to be better. And for me, I do it differently because I actually care. I mean, when I really take them in and I take the time to understand the business and to really evaluate what they're looking for and what they really need. I've had to learn, these last 15 years that it is business. It's not personal because I throw so much of my personal at it, feelings that I want to see them succeed. So I do it different by responding and just being there for someone and really wanting to see them succeed. Where I find other people in the industry are just like, all right, thanks, I'll see you later, I won't talk to you again. And that's you see that more than not. With an unregulated business, I've had people not even know who I was throw me out because when I've walked into their business, not even want to give me the time of day because they've been taken advantage of. Yeah. And that people have not done the right thing by them. And honestly, I always kind of say I sleep very well at night because I know that I've done the best that I possibly can for the merchants or the clients that I brought onto my portfolio.
So powerful. And it's very common, not just in your industry, only I've been in multiple different industries where the same type of thing happens, where the money takes over, the success takes over, and people forget that they're there to serve. And your clients, your customers, no matter what industry it is, you are there. They're paying you to serve them, to make them better, so that there's a great value exchange.
Well, it's interesting when I'm recruiting or training, one of my first questions always is do you like people? And I think that should be just a question across the board in any sales industry. Do you like people? Because if you don't like people, then that sales might not be the right industry for you. And that really comes about when you hit with the payment industry for sure.
Unfortunately, I've met all too many people that are frontline in customer service, sales, and multiple different industries where they're in touch with the people hands-on, that they don't like people.
Yep.
And it's such a shame.
It is a shame. It is a shame because they could be, if you like, you get rewarded by helping. I mean, at least I do. It's
the same page on that.
Yeah, especially when you sell the intangible. When you're out there selling the intangible, you can't touch it, feel it, see it built, or anything along those lines. That's the feeling that keeps me going. At least personally, I can speak to that.
So when you're focused on your client, you're focused on what's best for them. What have you done? What really makes your service or who you are different than other people's services?
I think it's more the education about the industry because it's, I really take the time and sit down and explain how it works and how classification of a certain business, how you're accepting, the payments. Is it on the web? Is it on the mobile? I really kind of put a whole package together for them to fully understand what it's about. Because, you swipe the card, the money's in your bank account. That's all some people will say. I try to break it down for more of an understanding so that what happens is I'll have my competitors will come in and say, I'll save you $300. But my merchants know that if I'm making $50 or $100 on them, that's a lot. So they know right off the bat that they can't either, this person doesn't know what they're talking about or, but my thing is the education and also the willingness to, help. And that's really what it comes down to.
That goes a long way. And what was underlined there that you didn't say is the personal touch, that they can actually reach out to you, that they can speak to you, that they can, they have any challenges. You not only are educating them on the front end, you're there to continually educate them ongoing throughout your relationship with them. And that's so important. And one of the reasons why I would do business and with you or anybody that does that component, it's that personal touch, world of difference.
And I value that. I mean, I have merchants that call me I literally have, the owner of the company will say, just call Scott, he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And we get it done. And I always say to customers, or merchants, there's never not going to be problems. It's how we address the problems and how quickly we can solve them. And it could be a problem for 5 years, but I mean, before we were on here, I have a merchant had a tavern burned down, and they don't have and nobody was hurt, thank goodness, but they can't accept any money. And as we were speaking, my business partner's on his way with a terminal to meet them halfway, to get them up and running. So, that took me a good hour and a half today, but I was on the phone and we just were able to coordinate that. But that to me I was helping them, and that's,
that's a big difference.
And they appreciate it. Most people do appreciate it, just like you said, which is nice. So
no question. And really so much of our job as business owners and of entrepreneurs is to help our prospective clients see those scenarios and help them realize in advance that that's why they would do business with us versus somebody else. That's why they would do business with you versus somebody else, is because when the crap hits the fan, it's that you're going to be able to be reachable and will be proactive in solving the challenge. Whereas other people, it's 3 days later and they finally get in touch with somebody and, oh yeah, it's being mailed to you. You'll get it next week. It'll be a 10-day service charge, and onward and onward. Been there. And it's our job to educate as entrepreneurs. One of the biggest messages that they could take away from this little piece of our conversation is, man, let your prospective clients as well as your clients know that's your value.
I was at a mixer last night with a couple bankers, and one banker said to the other, so who are these guys that have this area really dominated with the merchant services? And they pointed at me. And she goes, yeah, I saw him the other day at a deli, and all of a sudden he popped up from behind and he was wiring something up for somebody. So it's kind of interesting, but that's a great reputation. That's what we do. And the reputation is getting out there, and it's really, it's nice to kind of hear that in a kind of a mixer setting, when it
that's awesome.
So,
yeah. So
nice.
In all literal sense, your reputation preceded you.
Yes, which was nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so great. What a great feeling.
Yes,
you went home dancing after that one.
Yeah, no, that was a very successful networking meeting.
That was good. So with all your success, and you're going to be in the chapter that's for some of the people that listen to this, it'll be coming up any day now. And for others, they're going to hear it after the book comes out, and we're driving it to bestseller. It's just an amazing group of authors. Be a Success Maverick, Volume 3. With the chapter, with everything that you wrote, with all your other success, what's next?
Oh, next, keeping up with my kids.
There you go.
But it's about becoming more of an influencer in the industry. With the book, it's kind of shown me that, and, some of the interactions I've had recently, just like the mixer last night, that I can be more of an influencer within the industry and kind of be, there are good people in the payment industry that can help, that want to help. So that's really what's next for me. I've got a few bank relationships I'm working on. If I net them, I will have to hire. So that's a good thing, right? So those are my two things on the horizon: to be an influencer and in the industry, and also, net another bank, because I go into small and medium-sized banks and help them compete with the bigger banks. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And learning to delegate, hire more people, and to grow that empire.
Well, that's what you're helping me with, is the delegation and the processes. So I'm very thankful for that, for sure.
I am honored. So we've got a lightning round of some quick questions, and kind of talk about more of your personality, if you will, although we've been talking ton on that. Your favorite book you'd recommend?
It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Mowat. And it's Mowat, M-O-W-A-D. And again, being dyslexic, I'm an Audible guy, so I'm not a reader, but I listen to it all the time. So, but I've read that book about 3 times, and it's got some really great stuff in there for perseverance. It takes what it takes. It really spoke to me, because it does. It takes what it takes.
Takes what it takes,
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yep.
Your favorite movie?
When I allow myself to sit down and watch one, I actually have seen Independence Day quite a few times. I get a kick out of that. That's fun. I like Will Smith's kind of.
What about it? So his comedy. What about it of Independence Day that really?
It's kind of like, yeah, it's more just like he can be, he gets the job done and makes it happen. It's kind of got a little wit to him at the end too. So that's what I kind of like that. It's kind of, you can still get business done, but have a little fun doing it,
There you
so.
go. The business with the cigar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Favorite singer or band?
I always have Stevie Wonder's Greatest Hits in my CD player in my car.
Oh, that's great.
He runs the gamut, and depending on my mood or what I'm doing, if I got a appointment or something, he always has a song that I can really kind of gets me in the mood.
That's perfect. What's your biggest passion?
My biggest passion is helping people. I mean, I try to volunteer. I really just, I'm very grateful for what I have and what I've been through. And I just, my passion is, my family, obviously, that's huge for me, but I really like to give back. That keeps me going. When you get those down times and stuff, I just volunteer a little more, and it helps out a lot. I just recently kind of figured that out.
Yeah. Whenever you get past yourself,
mm-hmm.
and you realize that you're here for others and that we're all in a universal connection, makes all the difference in the world.
It really does.
We've got people listening from all around the country and all around the world. What's some words of wisdom you want to pass to them?
Be present in the moment, and try to come from a place of gratitude. That's really what I've learned in the last few years of just, be in the moment. Things will work out the way they're supposed to, and just, be grateful for what you have, because, you can't control everything. You can really only control how you react. Yeah. And it's how you react to moments. And if I found that I'm a much happier person in the moment, and coming from a place of gratitude. So that's what I could offer.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Scott. It's been an absolute pleasure. For anyone that wants to reach out to Scott and get to know him a little bit more, find out more about his business, his services, his links are right here in the description. And you want to absolutely get a copy of Be a Success Maverick, the link for that is also available right here. We would love to have you a part of the Maverick universe and the Maverick community any way possible. Scott, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
My honor, Paul. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
This is Paul Finck. This is the Maverick. I am the Maverick Millionaire, and this is Maverick Do It Different podcast. And this is where we dare to do it different. See you all soon. Until next time, everyone. Thanks for listening to Paul Finck. That's me, the Maverick Millionaire, and the Maverick Do It Different podcast. You can listen to us anytime, 24/7 on your podcast listening platform of choice. Introduce us to your friends, give us 5-star rating, and subscribe, and share us across all your social media platforms to anyone that could really utilize this message right now. Till next time, everyone.